Good evening. It's going to be glorified. I won't take too long, I promise. I see a lot of people in the crowd today. Everyone's sitting in different places though, so hopefully I'll get used to it by now. And I'm sure that camera's not going to help either. Good evening, amazing to be glorified. If you have your Bibles, please turn with me, if you will, to the book of Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon, chapter 5 will be our passage for focus tonight. As we turn there, I'd like to express my gratitude for all your prayers and for the opportunity to be up here tonight. I know a lot of young ones are in the audience today, and when I was your age, I didn't have the greatest attention span, so I do pray that you all maybe give me the opportunity. I do believe what God has put in my heart is very applicable to everyone, despite your age or where you are in life. So the book of Song of Solomon, props to you if you have read it entirely. It's not very long. It's only 8 chapters, but the book is very interesting and unique in the sense that it's unlike any other book in the scriptures. The content of the book doesn't present itself to be a book that focuses on redemption, right? It doesn't talk about mankind's downfall, or it doesn't talk about God's work with mankind leading up to Jesus Christ. No, it's not a prophetic book, right? It doesn't allude to the coming of the Messiah or even the second coming of the Messiah. And it's not a gospel, we all know it's not an epistle, because it doesn't give us direct teachings about our faith. So, what is it exactly? What are we looking at here in Song of Solomon? At its core, the book of Song of Solomon, it's a romantic dialogue. It's a conversation. It's a narrative between a man and a woman that are pursuing marriage. So if you read it for the first time, you would immediately notice a very romantic and passionate tone, a lot of expressive emotions. And I remember a while ago, Pastor Uncle took a series of Bible studies on the book of Song of Solomon, and I remember a focus on the phrase sick with love, or also lovesick. So you all may be thinking, what's my goal here? Why did I choose this book for tonight? And is this the most appropriate book to choose? But I, along with most of you, am a believer that, most if not all of you, that I am a believer that you can find Christ in every book of the Bible. And so this is not a guess or an observation, but Jesus Christ directly tells us. He tells us in the Gospel of Luke that beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. Not some of the scriptures, but all of the scriptures concerning himself. So when we look at Song of Solomon, we notice some indication, right? Some shadow of what we see here relating to our relationship with Jesus Christ. And when we look at it through that lens, we see the richness of the book, especially that of chapter 5. So, for context, what's happening here? Chapter 5 describes the experiences of a woman, an unnamed woman that is, having a dream. And her dream revolves around this experience. Her beloved, Solomon, approaches her house. He approaches her house to be with her. He knocks on the door, but she ignores it. However, she immediately recognizes her foolishness of not answering the door, so now she's on a quest to find him. So within this dream, she gets up, she gets ready, and she goes out into the city to find him. And in her desperation, she's searching the city. She's panicking, and she doesn't know where to find him. So she goes up to random people, and she asks, "Have you seen him? Excuse me, have you seen my husband?" Or, I'm sorry, excuse me, have you seen my beloved? And eventually there's a group of people known as the Daughters of Jerusalem. The Daughters of Jerusalem are a group of people that observe this woman's distress, observe this woman's affection, and observe this woman's quest to go find her beloved. So much so that while they're observing this woman, it leaves them wondering what it is about this man that's causing this woman to react like this, to act like this, to go out to the city and search for him in the middle of the night. They pull her aside and they inquire. So, notice what they say here in verse 9. Verse 9 of chapter 5. "What is your beloved more than another beloved, O most beautiful among women? What is your beloved more than another beloved, that you thus adjure us?" I'll read it again. "What is your beloved more than another beloved, O most beautiful among women? What is your beloved more than another beloved, that you thus adjure us?" So essentially what they're asking here is, who is this man? What makes him so special? What makes him so great that you leave the comfort of your home at the middle of the night and you wander into the city and search the city in desperation? You go up to random people, you're asking all these questions. What is so great about this man? And when I read this, immediately my thoughts turned into our relationship with Jesus Christ. What does he give you that other gods cannot give you, right? What does he give you that the world can't give you? You want money? The greatest of jobs are there, right in your hands. You want good health? The finest of physicians are there. The best gyms. You want satisfaction? You want enjoyment? There's the best of food, the best of the most beautiful cities, the best music, all at your fingertips. And yet, why do you revolve your life around Jesus Christ? What's so great about him that you center your life around someone you can't even see? So how would you answer that? I'm sure a lot of us would say, hey, I was raised in a Christian family. My parents were Christian, so I went to church every Sunday. I went to Sunday school. I read my Bible, and I got used to the routine. And here we are, and that's how my life has been thus far. But is that all your testimony is? Your answers may not be exactly that, right? But if I were to ask you today, who is Jesus to you, what would you tell me? Would you tell me, I believe Jesus Christ came into this world as the Son of God. He lived a perfect life, and he died on the cross for my sin. And because of this, I'm free, and I'm going to go to heaven. Great, right? We know that's the truth. That's wonderful. Praise be to God, all these things are true. But is that all that there is to it? Is that all you see in the person of Jesus Christ? If we were to ask our next door neighbor, let's take Lee for example, if you were to ask Lee, who is Jesus Christ? There's a good chance he might say the same thing, right? And I don't know if he's Christian or not. And that doesn't matter, but it's up to him if he actually believes those things. But I hope you get my point. If your testimony can be said verbatim by an unbeliever, is that really your testimony? If you're just spitting out theology, if you're spitting out doctrine, is that what Jesus Christ did for you? Or is your testimony so much more than that? Do you know the person of Jesus Christ as well as you say you do? Who is he to you? In Song of Solomon, when the daughters of Jerusalem asked this woman, what's so special about her beloved? Look at what she says. It's remarkable. Starting from verse 10. My beloved is radiant and ruddy, distinguished among 10,000. His head is the finest gold. His locks are wavy, black as a raven. His eyes are like goats beside streams of water, bathed in milk, sitting beside a full pool. His cheeks are like that of spices. Mountains of sweet smiling herbs. His lips are lilies, dripping liquid myrrh. His arms are rods of gold set with jewels. His body is polished ivory, bedecked with sapphires. His legs are alabaster columns, set on bases of gold. His experience is like Lebanon, choice as the cedars. His mouth is most sweet, and he is altogether desirable. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. The moment she is asked by the daughters of Jerusalem who her beloved is, this woman radiates with love. She radiates with passion. You can see it in what she says. She erupts with joy, and she jumps into exactly who this man is. She jumps into song about who this man is. So much so that if you caught this, she describes him head to toe. She goes from his hair to his eyes to his cheeks to his lips to his arms to his legs to his body. Head to toe, she describes this man. She knows this man so well that she is able to describe this man to the daughters of Jerusalem. She says, let me tell you exactly how wonderful he is. Let me tell you exactly why he means so much to you. Sure, Jesus died on the cross, but what does that mean for humanity, right? What does that mean to you? Sure, Jesus saved you from sin, but what specific sins did he save you from? Sure, he's given you promises, but what specific promises has he given you? What specific implications does that have for your life? The way you act, are you able to articulate that? So, who is Jesus Christ to me? To me, Jesus Christ is the one when I have something on my mind and I'm tossing and turning in the middle of the night. He's the one I can cry out to. He's the one when I have financial difficulty. He gives me comfort. He gives me confidence. He's the one that convicts me of all the sins of my life. He's my friend. The first person I go to when I hear good news because I know he's the one that did it all for me. He's the one that saved me from addiction. He's the one that saved me from lust. He rescued me from my sin nature. That's who Jesus is to me. And I know I'm not perfect, nor will I ever be. But I do take confidence in that I'm living in victory, right? And that's what matters. That's who Jesus Christ is to me. And who is Jesus Christ to you? So I ask you again, do you have a personal relationship with Christ? A personal relationship, not a relationship through your parents, not a relationship through your spouse, not a relationship through the elders in the assembly who come up every Saturday and Sunday and speak from this podium. Do you know what Jesus has done for you? Notice what this woman says in verse 16. His mouth is most sweet, and he is altogether desirable. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. This is my beloved, and this is my friend. Mine. You don't know the way I know him. You know him another type of way, but you don't know the way I know him. That's what this woman says. You might know him another type of way, who knows, right? But the way I know him is special to me and me only. His mouth is most sweet, and he is altogether desirable. You know, when we really look upon the person of Jesus Christ, either that be a merciful God or a holy God or a God of wrath, we come upon one conclusion. He is altogether desirable. Some translations say altogether lovely. And what a blessing it is to be able to serve that God, the God that is altogether lovely. As you all may know, I'm currently on winter break, and that's why I've had the pleasure to be down here with my family and my extended family, that being you all. And initially I thought this would be like any other break, and I didn't look too much into it. However, there was a unique experience that I do want to share with you all. One of my friends, his name's Rithvik. I've known him for about 7 years now. We went to high school together, pretty much took all the same classes for 4 years, and later went on to college together. And he was supposed to come down around the same time as me, and he lives in Pembroke Pines, so he was supposed to come down around the same time as me, but he decided to stay a couple extra days, no biggie. However, his parents started calling him, and he didn't answer for a few days, which is alarming to them. So they sent a family friend and to check up on him. He lived by himself, and it went by one. They sent a family friend to check up on him, and the family friend goes there and knocks on his door. He doesn't answer, but he sees Ritvik's car outside. He's like, oh, he's probably home. So he calls his parents and tells him, he was like, hey, this is what I saw. And Ritvik's parents, still trying to get hold of him, they're unable to do so. So what they do is they take the decision to drive up to Gainesville. So both of them drove up to Gainesville, and they knock. He's not opening, so they call the police. And the police comes and opens the door, only to find him dead there. Yeah, just as alarming as when I first heard it. He's 20 years old, right? No previous medical history. They said he said he died from a cardiac arrest. No health issues. And later that week, they held a funeral for him, and I was able to go to the funeral. And this funeral was a very unique experience in the sense that this was my first non-Christian funeral. Not necessarily Hindu, but a very American funeral in the sense that you get up, you share your thoughts and memories about him, and anyone who wants to get up gets up. They keep moving on. However, what I distinctly noticed was that whenever people got up and they tried to say words of encouragement or they tried to console his parents, they were unable to do so. His parents were not comforted. And how could they be, right? They just lost their son. All the words that they heard and all the reassuring statements that were said to them meant nothing. They know that they're not going to see their son again. How could they? Their religion doesn't promise them that. So why am I telling you this? As believers, we have a great assurance of being reunited with our loved ones in heaven, right? My grandparents, they all passed away, but I have the great assurance of seeing them one day in heaven because I have this great faith, because I have this hope. And we know this life is very temporary, and there's so much waiting for us on the other side. But chances are, our loved ones don't, right? The ones that we made, our coworkers, our friends, they don't know. They don't have this assurance. And so for them, life is just life. It's all that there is. And they don't share the same joy we share because they don't understand and they don't experience the person of Jesus Christ. They don't share the same joy because they have yet to believe in the promises of our God. And how sad is that? Look at Song of Solomon chapter 6 verse 1. It directly goes on to verse 1. It's the same dialogue. She continued and said, "Where has your beloved," this is the daughters of Jerusalem speaking. They say, "Where has your beloved gone, O most beautiful among women? Where has your beloved turned, that we may seek him with you?" The moment this woman shares to these people about their beloved, they were initially just curious. They were curious about why this woman was searching for this man in the middle of the night. But eventually, knowing how the woman explained to them who this man is, they became so curious that they want to search for the man themselves. It was through this woman's passion that the daughters of Jerusalem dropped what they were doing and they wanted to search for that man as well. In the same way, my hope is that your testimony, your obsession, and your love with Jesus Christ is what causes others to stop what they're doing and search after our God. That our testimonies and the lives that we live may be so rich, so personal, so authentic, that evangelism just flows out of us naturally. And so, once again, I ask you, who is Jesus Christ to you? This is a question we'll be answering for the rest of our lives. Can we stand before an unbelieving world and say, look, I want to tell you what Jesus Christ saved me from. This is who I was before, and this is who I am now. We ought to devote ourselves to him, right? Search for him as the woman in Song of Solomon did. Practically speaking, this is through his word, through practical devotion with him. I realize I'm speaking to a very diverse group of people here. Some of you being very young and being very early in your relationship with Christ, and others who have been walking with him for maybe 50, 60 years. And so no matter where you are in life, if you study the word all day, every day, you'll only scratch the surface of knowing the person of Jesus Christ. But I believe that even scratching that surface is so powerful that it'll change the way that you walk with him, the way that you act with others, and the way that you carry yourself. Like Sis Uncle said during watch night, chew on the word of God. Spend time with it. Ask God to speak to you. That our lives and that our life and how we express our love for him may lead us to Christ and ultimately glorify God. May his name be glorified.